The Lowrider ST, is it any good for city riding? Let's get into it. Alright, what's going on YouTube? FXDLS Brooklyn is back in the building, coming at you live from New York City. It's a beautiful spring day out here. A lot of you have been asking me with my Lowrider ST content, knowing that I am hailing from a chaotic, insane environment such as New York City, how does this bike fare in terms of the New York City miles? Now, I've said it repeatedly that my usual weapon of choice for New York City miles is, of course, my 1988 FXR for many reasons. Number one reason just being, well, yeah, it's an FXR. But, however, I would not sell my Lowrider ST short in terms of the city miles, and in this video, I'll try to briefly address why I actually do think it's a formidable weapon if you are someone who does put in a lot of urban miles, like your favorite Dynabro on YouTube, FXDLS Brooklyn. Without further ado, let's get that started. Up. If you're running a cammed up setup with a Fab 28, definitely sound wise it's a presence on the road, which is something you definitely want with your bike if you're riding in the city. Obviously, I chose this paint because it is very visible, especially against this typical color of asphalt in the streets out here. Oh my god, FXDLS Brooklyn is doing a forward-facing camera? Wow, it's like we're throwing it back to those 2016 days. Yeah, I figured we'd make this one kind of fancy for y'all as we rip through the border. That's right, the border of Brooklyn and Queens. But for the topic at hand, I'm not gonna do like a list, an organized list like I do in my before you buy videos. Just gonna kind of hand wavy tell you why I actually think this bike is a very formidable weapon for the New York City chaos. The number one reason is, even though this bike is coming in with a fixed fairing and bags, you know, I got my Leather Pros on here, due to the suspension as well as the frame, this bike is actually very easy to throw around. In terms of the grand scale of Harley Davidsons, this, in terms of a capable mile crusher, is really easy to throw around. And then, of course, you could take it even further. You know, you could take the bags off, strip a little bit of extra weight here and there. So I think the number one reason is, like I said, the bike is just really easy to throw around, you know? Which is kind of what you want when you have to dodge all the potential hazards and nonsense that comes along with the New York City nonsense. And I think the biggest reason is, number one, inherently this is a bike that can go really fast straight out the box. And also, even, yeah, we gotta take it down. We got the speed limit cameras going on here, so we'll take it down a little bit. Not trying to get that early spring ticket. But yeah, inherently this bike is really fast out the box. See that right there, my friends? That is your speed camera. Watch out for those. That's why you gotta know your streets real well. So yeah, inherently this bike is really fast, even stock, right? You get that straight out the box. But not only that, you know, obviously I've upgraded my brakes to pretty much as far as you could go. But even stock, this bike actually did stop really well. Obviously, I took it to a more extreme level with my Lindell and Brembo setup. But like I said, factory rotors and brakes on this bike, I was actually pretty happy. I ran them for a year before upgrading, so it'll stop really well and go fast out the box. And those are two factors you need if you're riding through an environment like this, which is, again, you got to be able to go fast and stop fast to get yourself out of the way of the people who are typically on their phones or driving under the influence or just bad drivers to begin with out here in New York City. So the combination of those three things, which is a bike that is easily throwable around, assuming that you have the riding experience, a bike that can move fast, a bike that can stop fast, as well as, like I said, the paint on this bike combined with the fairing gives it a pretty visible presence on the road, makes it what I think actually a really good bike for the city. Am I gonna say it's as good as my FXR? No, I'm not. But am I complaining when I rip this bike around within New York City? No, it does it pretty well actually. And you know, for someone who my default miles are urban New York City miles, I need a bike that can be able to crush miles, but also be able to handle the most extreme riding, aka New York City. So that's what I got for that one. I told you I'd try to keep this one brief. I love these guys out here hustling, you know, doing their thing with the car wash, plugging into the fire hydrants. Talk about hustle and grind and ingenuity. Can't knock it, gotta respect it. Never gonna fault anyone for trying to go out there and make an honest dollar. Which is why you should both like this video and subscribe to my channel, because that's what I'm doing right now. Not that FXDLS Brooklyn is making any money off this. I could barely cover the a quarter of the gas that this bike eats up. Alright, y'all. Gonna cut off this one, actually start a new video, so tune into that one if you want me to talk about the most dangerous road in New York City. Stay safe and stay low. On that, FXDLS Brooklyn is out.